Alright, so some changes to the boat. Replace the bungee with a rope to stop getting any bounce when we hit potholes, so that's a bit more secure. And replace the fish finder for a couple of reasons that were becoming quite irritating. Switch from the Lowrance to a Garmin. A lot of this reasoning why I went to Garmin is pricing and speed. The total scan transducer that we got with the Elite TI was massive, probably twice the size of that one. Really stuck out a long way from the boat. This one's a bit smaller. There's going to be slightly less risk of me banging the end of it off on a beach, which is good. There's not a huge amount of height. If you look at the base of the boat to the transducer, it's off if we hit the sand, but if we roll to that side it is going to bang it a bit, so we're going to be careful with that. But I feel a lot more comfortable with the smaller one there, and it's got a much thinner wire, which is nice. That let me use the pre-existing hole to run the line through, so I took off that plastic pipe I had there. I just put a bit of silicone on that hole, not that any water's really going to go anywhere in there. So that piece of pipe that was protecting the cable as it went over is gone, and same thing, I've just bunched up the cables there. Luckily the screws that came with the Garmin were the exact same pitch and thread and same spacing, so we managed to use the same holes and get the right height, hopefully. So they're pretty secure, and I just gunked them up with marine silicone, which will just give that thread a bit of extra grip. So we had to undo all of the little things that I'd made here and redo them, and then it's all just cable tied off there, the excess. The other main thing was, before I had the power cable permanently connected to the battery. This is actually a really bad idea if you don't have a fuse box with an on-off switch like you would with a boat that's normally wired up with a house battery and has a cabin and everything. Because the problem is, if you leave the power cable connected all the time, there's power running through the cable all the time, and the salt and humidity and all the other stuff very quickly corrodes the positive terminal, and your power cable becomes toast. So I've actually had to order a new power cable after only 1 month. That one stopped working before I sell the unit to somebody else. So I am actually going to just mount a lead acid battery in a box directly under the fish finder next to the fuel tank. Should be fine. That way it's easy just to pick up the whole thing and take it away and charge it, and won't put any stress or load on the starter battery. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. It's a much smaller unit, but the main reason I switched was that the touchscreen on a boat like this is useless. It's pretty much like your cell phone. Get a bit of water on it, stops functioning, you can't touch things. Worse, a bit of water on it, it will keep reading as a touch on the screen, stopping you from doing anything else, and you'd have to keep rebooting the unit and all sorts of things. So then, of course, I put a screen cover on it to try and stop that happening. That just made it hard to see the screen while you're moving because of the light glare and reflection. So moving to the good old button operated one should be nice. So this is only a 4.5 inch. I decided to drop the cost, after using it. It is nice to have a big screen when you're navigating, looking at the maps, but when you're fish finding it doesn't make a big difference. And to be honest, I can survive on a small screen. I think it'll be fine. I preferred to actually save a bit of money because I've got to sell the other one, having paid for this one already. And but as small as it is, this is a realistic looking picture of about how it'll look. So you have to zoom in and out a lot, but it was actually a really fast unit. I was looking at the Hook 7. There's a new Hook 2 coming out, but it's not out yet. But the Hook 7 touch, non-touch, is really, really slow to update the maps and things. This is pretty quick and responsive. And you pay a bit more when you want the charting. You can get the same units for nearly half the price if you don't have the charting. But the cool thing was, Burnsco had a sale today, and I got a free $100 life jacket with it, so that was nice. So yeah, really looking forward to setting this up. The other good thing about not having the power cable continuously wired to there where I can't undo it is that I can take the unit home, plug it in, check stuff. I can use Navionics, decide if I want to go somewhere, and then whack in the waypoints on here from home before I bring it to the boat. So yeah, there are some nice things about it. Really like the plugs on this one too. They're nice and small, O-ring style sealing, and they've got covers to stop the salt in. And another thing I kind of learnt in hindsight, put dielectric oil grease in here. Protect the hell out of these things. They corrode so quickly and easily, especially with all the salt and things that get around the area. Dielectric grease in here and in there from day one, and keep it greased. Keep the water, keep the salt off those contact points completely.